Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, gosh, the dollar just keeps going up. Dollar needs to reject. We're going to talk about that. Actually, we got a couple of earnings this week that are going to be interesting on my radar for sure. I know I'm not in my YouTube uniform. I switched to just a black polo, but anyway, didn't have time for that. What's up, everybody? So in this stream, we're going to go over the stock market expected moves for the week. And as a trader, whether you trade options or not, this again is where market makers just handicap their risk. This is where they have everything hedged and accounted for. Getting outside of these areas, volatility can jump up. So inside this range, it's you versus the institutions, right? That's how a lot of people like to see it, which is kind of crazy. The institutions, they don't care about you, and to be honest, nobody does. Sorry. They're out to just make money, and they have a couple other tricks up their sleeve. But anyway, you get outside these moves. Now it's you, the institutions, and the market makers. Now there's 3 players on the board, so things could get crazy. What's up, King Hargrave? Infinitely Finite says, okay, I guess you're talking already. Just got the alert. Anyway, let's jump into it. We'll chart out the expected moves for everybody that doesn't really feel like waiting for that. I guess you could always screenshot this if you're lazy. Here's the expected moves for IWM, QQQ, SPY, Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon, Apple, Google, Ford. Palantir and Ford both have earnings this week. So you can see their expected move had jumped up more than double. Then we have Intel and Netflix. I'm going to chart those out real quick, and then we're going to break them down. Dollar is pushing up. Market's had a little bit of a red open right now. Kind of nothing. A lot of time before the market opens though. So let's get this expected move in here. All right, IWM for 81. And I get asked now that I'm on this other channel with a lot of other people. Sorry, 794. You guys, I've been getting asked a lot, like what indicators to use. What indicators are these boxes? These are things that I draw out just from looking at the charts. So this is not an indicator you'll find unless you're here. I guess you could be a YouTube member, and then you could have my charts. But that's going to be it. Meta 1990. What about that Meta earnings? They announced a dividend, a 50 billion buyback. Man, who was ready for that? 2758. Amazon 525. Apple is 501. Oh, ticker Google. Why is that so small like that? Did Brad go touching these things again? Make that wider. That looks so weird to me. Ford. See, Ford's usually in the 40 cents, 39, 44. We're 83 cents this week. And then Palantir going from 90 cents to 232. That one's going to be a wild one. Intel 145. And I don't have Netflix. Weekly expected move. Netflix right here. There we go. Did have that. I thought we added it. 1719. Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys have my charts, by the way, these white lines are the ones manually drawn. These gray lines are the indicator, 1 standard deviation and 2. I guess last week I forgot on some of them to actually like line them up. And that's just because I'm paranoid. And if it ever goes away, I still have my lines there. I don't know. I'm just weird like that. But anyway, they do mean the same. Where's Tesla? Tesla's looking at either one of the zones. It's gonna be interesting. So who got on the Meta train? I'm in Meta every earnings. Just it's a gamble regardless. There's no need for that disclaimer. But I was not in this one. Intel shook me a little bit. I was bullish Meta. I was talking about bullish Meta. And then Intel, I was bullish Intel as well. Didn't take it. Didn't take Intel or Meta. But Intel was like, I'm bullish. Still shocked me that it was red. Then Microsoft sold off on green earnings. So that right there, I was like, you know what? I'm bullish, and I don't feel like gambling that. Turns out it would have been close to a PR day if I had, which sucked. Anytime you almost make 6 figures on a trade, would sucked. It sucks not taking that trade. Hang on, we're almost done. We're just going to get these all all lined up. Where's the? Is that it right there? Never mind. Ooh, Google, man. So we drew this out for Google. These blue candles are just something that I draw, kind of predictions. I drew these out, and a wick got there, but the candle formation up here, price point still right. Is that right or wrong? I need to redo the. I mistyped it. IWM 481. Ooh, did I really? Good catch, Cody. If that's serious. How did I miss that? Thank you. Yeah, because I do take trades based on these lines. These are not support resistance. You'll watch it come up here a lot and bounce right off it, but not support and resistance levels. Not for that. You have to understand what they are to be taking trades off of them. Man, Ford is probably going to put some people in their place this week. Ooh, I personally am thinking lower high, and it comes down, but the whole market's just been buy everything. You know, if you forgot about 2021, don't worry. The market's here to remind you. Palantir in the growth count. For everybody following that, I was going to post a poll, but I think just the next one is not going to be Rivian. It's actually going to be SoFi. That's the next ticker I will be buying tomorrow. I wish we could have got in it before earnings, but anyway, we are going to do that. And there's been a couple of people that have asked, like, what if we just stack the capital from a couple checks and then sell puts? But I think for now, we're just going to accumulate 100 shares during any price movements. It is a good idea, though. So anyway, SoFi will be the next one. I'm also curious to hear everyone's thoughts are as far as I'm not ready to go. Banks go. A lot of people are talking about banks again. So I'm curious, just in general, what's everyone's thoughts on that? Big banks, stay away from the small ones. All of them are in trouble. Did you know they have a stadium? Listen, for anyone that doesn't know this, I don't know if you've been sleeping under a rock. I don't know who you've been listening to, but SoFi. Now sit down if you're standing up for this. They have a stadium. I said what I said. Yeah, you heard me right. A stadium. Ha, who wouldn't buy that? Yeah, we are going to add that into the expected moves, actually, as a matter of fact. SoFi, let's get that pulled back up. SoFi, 56 cents. I do want to look at Palantir real quick. Palantir. Where are we at? $2 out. Oh, man. Still collecting $22 on the 1450s. I might actually sell some 1450 puts this week, which will add on a little bit. As far as puts go, look at the puts. You know, here's the volume. So open interest, things that were swung overnight. Volume was just, Friday right there. Look at the open interest and volume over here on the call side. 11,000, 10,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 15,000, 6,000. Just at the money section, a lot of people are going to be really rich or really upset. Cody sold the 2150 calls. Remember what I said about a lot of people going to be rich or upset? Cody's going to be the latter. Just kidding. Somewhat. Kidding. Actually, let's bring that back up. So what he did was he's been following the growth count. He has shares now, and what we're going to do is sell calls against the shares, which will be so the growth account, something we started at 0. Then we put in $150 on Monday, how Robinhood does it, and then we buy what we can, right? That's the growth account. I got a little over 100%. It was 9 months. Everybody didn't pay attention until that, and then they wanted me to start it over, so we started it over. One time, not happening again. So you're on board or you're not. But anyway, now that we have 100 shares in there, I'm actually not going to sell a call against that this week because of this move. Now, our average cost is actually about $18. So we're right at the 18 mark. So he sold the 2150s against this. So he collected $10. If you did right now, you would collect $10. That's 10 cents per share. So if your average was 18, your average is now $17.90. Now, if Palantir does shoot up and he lets it go, he will sell his shares at 21.50. Your shares will get called away. That's where options get their name from. Shares get called away for calls, or shares get put to you for puts. So breaking that trade down, he collected $10 there. He also went from 17, or I guess no, we went from 18 to 21.50. So what, $3.50 there? So $350 to $360 total is what he will make on that trade. And at that point, what he'll do later is just sell puts, even at the money. And then if it drops down, he'll get assigned, and it'll just keep kind of going back and forth. But that's another way to create just kind of weekly income. You got to be very careful with the tickers. A lot of YouTubers will make this sound like the end all be all, and it can be very amazing. But at the same time, you go picking dumb tickers or anything, like he just collected $10, and some of you guys probably just scoffed and was like, $10. I would never do that. That's $10 a week, but at the same time, his management is a lot less. His deltas are 9. There's a 91% chance he's going to keep that kid's money, and we're just going to do it again next week. If you go chasing home runs, like, well, I want more premium, so you get closer, or you think you're going to go farther out, it doesn't make sense. It just adds up. He'll do the same thing that many times versus one long play. There are no home runs in this area. There's no home runs, but there is base hit after base hit. It's like walking a base 90% of the time. So anyway, be careful on that. Let's get on with the stream. Don once asked me if I'd pick up $10 if I saw it on the ground, and then I sold the 10 deltas. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how cocky people get over small gains while their account is red. I never got. There are some big talkers in chats out there, and this is very general, by the way. Like, you making any money? Like, no, but one day I will. No, surely won't be $10. It'll be billions. Lisa sold the 21.50s as well. I don't think it's bad, but I really do like Pound. The reason why I chose Palantir in the first place was an AI play. I think things really do kind of take off for AI this year. Last year was the AI hype, just the beginning. This year, the next hype cycle, I guess, as far as AI goes, still technically an AI theme, but the real AI companies, not Walmart, who's going to use it to help order groceries. Like, it's not. I want AI developers, people that are just in the space, the next monopolies, the next Amazons. So that's why I think Palantir is going to be a great one. So I don't want to get my shares sold away or called away. So that's why I'm not selling a call. So I'm going to sit this week out and then go for it. Cody says, interesting beverage you have there. Yeah, it's a sugar-free Sprite. No big deal. All right. The dollar needs to chill the F out, because I am short the US dollar, Japanese yen. I have to go short at this zone again. Other than that, hanging out. The Bitcoin still flirting with this zone. If we go to the daily. Sorry, let's go to the daily. We're really kind of, a little bit below, a little bit above. Really kind of just flirting with this area in general. Interesting to see the dollar pushing up and this selling off. Again, when I see the dollar and Bitcoin really line up, I guess not in tandem. Gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? The opposite. Inverse. Sorry, that's the word. I will add on to Bitcoin. As of now, I still plan on adding on down here at this lower zone. That is all you and Mike Hudson have been talking about lately. Yeah, especially if you're on Don Franz show, it's just AI videos. There's just a lot of people that don't know about AI. They have no clue about AI. Some people do, and they want to stick their head in the sand. Some people are just absolutely clueless to it. So I do want to talk about it more, because I know I can kind of sound like Chicken Little. But when you see the stuff and understand it, things start to just get weird, and then I feel like I have to talk about it. But yeah, the AI stuff's very interesting. We got another one coming up. I'm going to release it tonight on Don Franz show. Another conversation of AI. It's how AI will be introduced, actually. There's a couple interesting theories as far as mine versus everyone else. Does it bleed in? Does it shock the system? So that's the conversation around there. And then I bring up my points. So is Mike. All right. As far as the Russell goes, a little bit of a red open. Kind of the same thing we talked about last week, though. Giant bull flag. And the way this market's been, after a giant push up like that, we could just be cooling off. The obvious, we're bullish above this zone, bearish. I'd say we're bearish below here or probably hopping on down here. If we break this zone at all, I don't think we just break a little bit. I think we hop all the way down to the next level. Financials will likely lead that one. So with it just basing out right here, so far that trend is up. I know a lot of people are talking about banks. Excuse me. Let's see. Let's see what happens. IWM making a wedge. We're talking about just this right here, little triangle that is higher lows and lower highs. So anybody watching that, you'll probably keep an eye somewhere in this vicinity. And then, yeah, see which line breaks first. I'm sure Mike in his line of work has good information on AI. Yeah, he's in the space. I just study it. But that's why, I want to have more people as far as any people that are tech or have even looked into it. If you ever want to come on and have a conversation about AI or something you've seen or anything like that, let me know. It doesn't have to just be Mike and I. We want to bring on more people. James says, wedge, your favorite pattern? Yeah, love it. I do like a triangle. The wedge up, the wedge down. I can't stand that one out of all of them. Give me head and shoulders all day compared to that. All right, as far as tech goes, we are bouncing off that zone for now. A lot of sellers here. But here's the thing. We hit that. We were rejected. Kind of kept it horizontal. Hit it. We got a little bit further this time. So you would think sellers, they kind of showed up. We did overall kind of keep this channel up. But right now, we're right back up here at this top. It would be interesting. If we come all the way back down to here, I would still be bullish this blue zone because it is just kind of just cooling off right now. We make a higher low somewhere right in this vicinity and turn that ship around. I would probably expect higher highs on tech. And tech's been a wild card. It's very hard to short tech. As far as the expected move, we got plenty of space for either horizontal or new highs. The S&P, nothing to zone out yet. If we were, we could kind of talk about that right there. Hit that pretty decent rejection. Still, there's your type 2 level. Still finding sellers at this level and right here. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to fill that. Hang on, we're going to make these white. If we're at, so I got we're going to do this. Zones are white lines filled in with yellow. Yellow's 4 hour / daily. Blue, I've been leaving them blank, but if you see the old zones that are filled in blue, that's hourly. We're talking speed bump zone. But since we're at all-time highs, let's go dotted white line because we don't really know if that's a zone yet. We kind of have, I could sell you on it. I could tell you why. And if you don't know anything about zones, you might think that makes sense. But that's just not a lot of data to go off of. So we're kind of we're at an iffy zone right there. Is this a hammer on glass? I see we're talking about the NASDAQ right here. I guess in theory, this price action, no. This price action over here, yes. So if you are new, I know that's a Don Fran show question right there. Because I would call this just a hammer on glass. I have weird analogies for everything to try to make it easier for people to understand. Here's your horizontal line. Here's the diagonal line. Be it come from the top, come from the bottom. More often than not, the horizontal line breaks, and we call it just like a hammer on glass. And you just keep hitting it. Eventually, one of those is going to break. Sometimes it's just glass and it breaks. Most of the time. Sometimes it's one of those fake hammers made out of like graphite from like the movies, or the glass is bulletproof and the hammer shatters. More often than not, yeah, you would see that break to the upside. Am I shorting this? No. Hammer on glass for the short setup? No. More than likely, this would be the play. If I had to put money on 100 times, how many times would that play out? More. Maybe I'm wording that wrong. more often than not, it plays out like this. A lot of times, sometimes you get the breakdown. Anything can happen. Sometimes you just go sideways forever. I'm short GM right now, but one of the last times I did this, it was actually on GM. I want to say it was GM stock, and we made this play, and it just went sideways. I mean, for the next few months, we just stayed range bound. All right, guess it wasn't the breakout. As far as shorting tech, I would be careful doing that. What does hammer on glass mean? You're probably lagging because I did just explain it. It's just a breakout play. But just for people to remember what's about to happen to that horizontal line. Man, I really would have thought this sell off the way we were selling off. I thought this was going to be the dip buy. We turned on a dime and then just went for it. The S&P's been. Now, I do have a short position in the S&P, SPXS. Now, it's down. And again, I told you guys I'm going to be that way for Q1. I have shares. I sell calls against it. I have positions going, but I wanted to have some short exposure, which right now is just getting like pizza dough. Like it's just getting thrown around and folded onto itself. So we'll see. And again, I do think still kind of do think there's going to be that pullback correction. Again, correction is just that as soon as you cross into that 10% mark, that's a correction. Technically 10 to 20 is 21% more is an actual crash. I was thinking, if anything, probably that 10% sell off. But I thought if it's going to happen, it's Q1 or not. Being an election year, they're going to fluff some things, pad some malls, pad some pockets. So I think if the sell-off happens, it's now or not. Does it decay like SQQQ? SPXS, yes, it is a leverage ETF. But I did want some leverage. I did not want an expiration. So I wanted the movement without the expiration. So that's why I didn't go with options. And I did not want full-blown leverage like futures because futures I trade intraday, which right now is just hedging the fact that I'm in SPXS. Overall, deltas, my whole portfolio is long. But that position is just getting wrecked. My SPXS and SQQ still getting bent. Closer to tagging out every day. Yeah, I don't know who would be an SPXS and up unless they're just micro scalping. This will be more bullish than 2020. Got to remind myself not to short after March. More bullish than 2020. That's quite the statement, to be more bullish than 2020. Because that 2020, the end of 2020 and 2021 was ridiculous. Now, the only thing, and maybe this is a bias, so do take this with a grain of salt. I'm just thinking out loud. That's literally all I do in every one of these videos. But most of you guys think this was the start of the crash back here in 2020. The reason why I was talking about it before this happened, and I literally called this out the day, well, it was the night prior. And if you ask anyone in my group that was there, I said, tomorrow, if we sell off, it's bad news bears. And that's what it was. It was on a Friday. Thursdays when I said that. Friday, we melted and went for it. But what gave that hint was, here's the normal market push up. We were kind of cruising at this pace. And then we went vertical. So if you hear me talk about that now, I just call it like the volleyball spike. They set it up first and then send it down. Everything kind of just went up. It was hard to be wrong during this time period. Everything was, even these red days, things were just went like this to that. This seems weird. Why is there's no fear, no one cares. And then all of a sudden, everyone lost it. James said, true story, was there? More bullish, possibly because the money supply will be through the roof. Yeah, I'm not going to argue it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just going to not relate it to 2020 or 2021, but I'm just going to say bullish. We're on the same side. But the market kind of has me feeling like this right here. I kind of feel like we're right here. And that's why I said, guys, maybe I'm just absolutely biased. Was my head in the way the whole time I just talked about that? I just realized I might have been the way. Anyway, here was, just in case, quick recap. That's the trend I was talking about. We're kind of moving up at this pace. And then we just get vertical. Like back then, that was vertical. Like we're really taking off. And then they laughed at that and really went for it. But I kind of feel like we're in this scenario right now. Again, if we don't crash Q1, it's going to look like this scenario until the election. After the election, let's see what happens. If there is a crash, they can blame it on the new president. Which at the time I thought they were going to blame it on Trump and crash it, because I talked about this crash before it happened, and I told everybody, you can go back to my YouTube videos; they're not deleted. I said, hey, no, next year we're going to crash. It's just going to be a reset switch, and then we're going to buy it all over again. That's how they kind of keep things down. And I said, it's probably going to be Trump. They're probably going to use and I just I called excuse, the market leading excuse. It probably was something political, probably something to do with Trump. That turns out it was the Rona. So maybe it's the next same thing. But if you are curious about that, that is part of my AI theory. So if you want to hear about that and you're on Don Franz Show, watch the video that comes out tonight. I had to draw a thumbnail for it, but it is coming out as soon as I'm done here. Yeah, I'll be interested to hear what everyone's thoughts are on that. Anyway, until that happens, until that red candle, and I'm even in a short position right now, I'm telling you guys, until that red candle is followed by another red candle, every one of these has just been a dumb buy the dip scenario. And again, something I say a lot and I need to remember, because I'm a knife catcher at heart. The worst thing you can do is buy the peak. That's it. That's literally it. What are you worried about buying here? Even I'm like, man, I just need a pullback. I need a pullback. I need a pullback. You can't just have money sitting on the sides forever. But you do need to make the decision. Am I going to buy? How do I structure this trade? And then when you get in, let's say that's the absolute peak and we jump off a cliff. We yell out Geronimo, we cannonball. That's what stops are for. Okay, then what's the difference between that and any other trade? Grab your little pair and just make a move is what it's going to come down to if you're just sitting there on the sidelines forever. So if I could just offer you that advice, hopefully you guys get what I mean by saying that. Some people just can't buy at all-time highs. It's a good fear to have, but also those same people are real quick to buy at all-time lows. And it's when you say it out loud like that, you're just like, man, are you struggling? Doesn't make sense. You'll buy the crappiest thing ever, but something that's just running smooth, find just a neat, nice old machine. You're like, nah, not taking it. You're not gonna sell me on that. Let's talk about Palantir real quick before let's do Palantir and SoFi before we get out of here. I do have to get to the mentorship group. But if you are here, do me a huge favor, hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up button. Let me know what your thoughts are on what I just said. And if you are, depending on what channel you're on, we're simulcasting to the Power Trading and Don Franz Show. Don Franz Show is where I'm doing the AI videos. There is one coming up, so I'm curious to hear what people's thoughts are on that. As far as Palantir goes, I am bullish. So they're expecting a $2. Like, here's the expected move: this zone or above this zone. Now, if we do shoot up like this, I'll sell some 2150. If we shoot up, I'll probably be able to sell the 22s just fine. But that being said, I don't want to sell a call in case we just get weird. I don't want any shares getting called away. And I don't want to sell any puts, because what I don't want to do is sell a put that's worth it, like the 16s, and we blast down to 14. I'd rather wait for the sell-off and then sell some 14s and not the 1350s. So I'll probably just take a reactionary play because I have enough shares of this. If you get a crash signal, give us a bang into our head warning. Okay. Then SoFi, we are going to be buying this tomorrow in the growth count. Again, if that's right now the Patreon link, or if you're inside my group, you get those alerts. Tomorrow, this will be the buy. Interesting fact that it shot up like that. We gave almost all of it back the next day. That's not the price action you want to see. But while I accumulate 100 shares, I don't mind if it sells off, because I'm going to buy, $150 worth for the next few weeks. Now, if it goes up, I'll be happy I did. If it goes down, my average becomes lower. So that's why I don't mind. I'm going to buy it, and then someone's going to ask, like, hey, are you tagging out? Let's say it sells off. The answer is no. I'm still accumulating shares. And there's a difference between that and bag holding. Bag holding is just shooting from the hip. You have no idea what you're doing. And you bought something. You had every plan on when you were going to sell when it's up. You have no idea what you're going to do when it goes down, because you never even thought about it. I know what I'm going to do if this goes down. That's part of the plan. that's why there's not a stop right now until we have to really manage things. I just realized this needs lines. So anyway, no point in asking about that. But I am bullish. PayPal was my favorite, and then SoFi. They just have a stadium. What more do you need? Anyway, that's gonna be the next one for the income. I need more income. So when you have a smaller account, you have to trade like that. Since we started from zero and we're just kind of barely there, you can't just go for certainly can't take earnings trades. I'm not buying 0 days to expiration. Do I think I can nail some 0 day to expiration trades? Yes. But if I'm brand new and I only have a little bit of money, I have to make that money work for me. Otherwise, I'm never going to get to the other. You have to trade. Uh, you trade your account, and some of you guys are really trying to reach and step in other people's shoes, which is the whole purpose of me doing this. I never do call outs or anything like that. I'm just sharing every one of my trades. If you agree with it, so be it. If you like making 100% last year, you're probably still in. But you have to trade the appropriate size and trade the appropriate trades. So that's why we're making the trades we are now. I want to accumulate some shares. I'm going to sell some calls against that. So I'll have my weekly deposit. I'll have the income from the options that we're selling, regardless of the share price going up and down. That won't matter to me. I'll still be making money. I will own those things like a house, and I'll be collecting rent on it. Your house, if you own one right now, the value goes up and down, but your mortgage stays the same. Your rent, you still collect rent every month if you're renting it out. So that's how I'm acting right now until we get to get going. Stop on Palantir, 0. Do you think there's a play to be made on PayPal? I do. But I wanted to go over before I get out of here, Disney and someone else called something else. Disney and Neo. I know I already said I was going to do those two, then leave, but I figured I'd call them out. Disney, it's hard not to be bullish on. That's not even extended. We had nice move up. We're just basing out. I'd be more worried about Disney. You can worry about the $100 psychological level. I'd be more worried about the 101 to 104-ish zone right here. That's where I think you'll find more sellers. Why Meta didn't hit IV crush and up 4,000%? Because the volatility jumped up. Amazon calls get only up 10%. Please explain IV crush. Okay. All right. Let me go over Neo and I will explain that to you guys. Cody said it best. Neo to 0. As it stands right now, this thing is just doing a good job selling off. Now here, back to what I said in the beginning. Some of you guys, you won't buy the S&P 500 because at all-time highs, but you'll stack some shares up like this, like it's just on some sort of sale. You get a deal of a lifetime. And then your money will continue to do this, and you wonder why. Okay? This is my first time doing mentorship plays. So with my luck, it'll probably be the first year the Don Ron ETF goes down. First of all, don't ever put that on me. No, absolutely not. I will fire you. No, that's not even a thing. Not to be cocky, but no, absolutely not. No way. Not a chance. I'm trying to think of how it could go down. It'd have to just absolutely break down, but the only thing we've locked in is positive money. So the account, the only way the account would be red is if the account is down, but the profit is locked in. So I guess we're arguing semantics. What I'm explaining is I'll sell options against my shares. I'll collect that money. That trade's closed. That is money. That is money in the account, magic internet money, right? But the shares I have now, if that value goes down, that's one of those stupid sayings, it's not a loss till you lock it in. So am I red or am I not? Cody says, I could convince Don to do some stupid stuff. No. How's the 4K challenge going? I don't want to worry about that at the end of the year. I have everyone's things screenshot though. Okay, so IV crush. Typically after earnings. So we talk about these expected moves right here. Did we not change this one? We didn't even do, what is this? Oh, that was, sorry, 2 standard deviations. Okay, so you have an earnings play. Now everyone knows earnings is coming up. So look at Palantir right here. We're expecting a $2.32 move. Last week was 90 cents. The week before that was 80 cents. I'll pull them all up right now, as a matter of fact. I have them in my group. Palantir last week, 90 cents. Okay, let's go the week prior. Right here, Palantir, 87 cents. About the normal expected move right here for Palantir. Let's see, Palantir, 97 cents. Okay, you guys getting a pattern? Now earnings is coming up. $2.32. Oh, my head was almost in the way for every one of these. Anyway, I'm talking about, see where my mouse is? That's where we're at. Look at my shoulder. All right. What that is showing off right there is you got to pay to play. They know something is coming up. What is earnings? Earnings is an announcement. It's going to go up or down. You can talk about guidance. You can talk about whether it beat or missed. You can talk whatever you want. The real answer is it's green candles because people were buying it. It's red candles because people were selling it. Doesn't matter what they say. People's reaction is ultimately what moves things. Now, market makers and everybody know that there is a possibility of a big swing up or down. And that is your volatility. That is Vega. That raises the price of that options contract. It's one of the big four Greeks. There's your delta, which is if Meta goes up $1, your options contract goes up or down that much. And then there's gamma. When the underlying moves up $1, delta will move up that much. Gamma will actually move up your delta that much. So think delta is gas, gamma is nitrous. Theta is because every contract is going to expire at 1 or 0. And I can show you guys here on the chain. Your delta's 1. It's almost 100% certainty we're going to expire above $5. And then there's your delta of 0. But 100% certainty, Palantir is not going to 35. This is what screwed over people on GameStop, by the way, because technically that's 99.99999, and it cost some people their pants down because they were short way out there. But we do know that within this range, we're expecting a much bigger move. And Vega is the reason you're charging for that. You got to pay to play. Now, when that earnings announcement happens, there's no more giant what if. It's back to the regular whatever. And that's why Amazon did have some earnings IV crush because earnings came out. Yeah, it went up. Big deal. We're done. Move on. Good earnings. Meta came out. Now the candle's cool. Same reaction. Similar. Meta came out. They announced a dividend. They announced a $50 billion buyback. They announced a whole bunch of good stuff. And everybody started pouring in and buying. This wasn't just a knee-jerk reaction. And if you guys remember, especially if you're on Powers on Trading, you probably remember Brad talking about the Costco special dividend. Remember the last time that Costco announced this special dividend? It not the $300 one. When it was like, no, not the $500 one. Remember it was $300. And they announced a special dividend of like $15. And it ran. At first it popped, and then it just ran. So they know things like that can drive a bunch more traffic in. So the only thing your volatility did on Meta was go up. So yes, your what if is gone, but it brought a whole new scenario in. Are you still holding your Meta stocks? Yeah, there's no need to ask stupid questions. Ever. Just kidding, Samir. Yeah, Meta is my biggest position. For a small period of time, Tesla was my biggest position. Just because Meta had gotten absolutely beat down. But anyway, that's IV crush right there. It's just that what if going away. And then Meta just going nuts. Cody says, Samir, you do here? Yeah, Meta to me is I can't legally say this because it's not financial advice, but I don't think you own enough Meta. No matter who I'm talking to, I don't think you own enough. Don't go buying at the top tomorrow and then when it sells off, get all upset and butthurt. Because I'll have this for years. And yes, guys, I have loved Meta. And now we had a strange relationship during this right here because I'm just watching. And in my head, I'm thinking like, could have bought a house, could have bought another house with that money. You know, when your money goes down, you're like, you start thinking of what you could have bought. And I was like, oh, there's Dave Ramsey's whole portfolio of real estate I could have bought. But anyway, and then I just bought more and I'm up a lot more now. But yeah, this period sucked. I complain about not having a Meta every day. James says, make Tesla great again. Tesla's going to have to, I think Tesla's going to be boring for a little bit. Now, when the robot comes out, when anything Elon announces actually comes out, full self-driving, I think, could be big. But right now I'm more interested in the robot. That's open all these. Dang. Okay, so here's why I'm interested in the robot, guys. This came out in November, and then of March we got Gen 1. There was an announcement. Here's the us showing it right there. Here's the Gen 1. And then Gen 2. From March of 23 to December of 23, you had that much change. This is accelerating much faster than I think full self-driving is. So if you want to make Tesla great again, let's see what Gen 3 looks like. Also, for anyone on the AI topic or you just don't understand what's going on, you might think that's just a Tesla robot. That's cool. Pay attention to the timeline. That's progressive. That is growing much faster than people anticipate. And that's what's going to get people ultimately in trouble. I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Would I short Meta? No, because I'm not stupid. And I'm just kidding. I don't know which channel you're on. No. And people ask, man, that was a very important, or not very important, very popular question the next day after Meta's earnings. Is it time to go short? And I even talked about it during the Meta reaction. I said, you know what? I could probably sell the 450, 455s or the maybe the 460, 465s. I was like, I'll sell a call spread. And then it was even later on that night with the midship group. I was like, I'm not even going to get run over by this train. And then the next morning, it had just gapped and went even more. And I was like, yeah, there's no way. And no, I would have a very hard time shorting Meta. If I were to go short Meta, it would be a bearish play. I would sell some out of the money call spreads. So if I got ran over, it's controlled risk. I'm not going to short shares. I take bearish plays all the time, technically, because I sell calls against my shares, or I'd flat out I would sell a call spread. Still a bearish play. I would not buy a put or buy a put spreads or short shares. You're asking to get run over. This is a cash machine. If there's a time to do it, what? Oh, the line, I need to leave that up there. What was this? Someone was asking about when could Meta hit something, and we drew this line. And I sarcastically did it, but I think we're probably almost there. Anyway, enough about that because I have to get to my group. Oh, that was all-time highs. Okay, so we're talking about Meta hitting all-time highs by this. We shortened that up a lot. Wow. Meta's insane. I have to text Eddie and see if he's still short. Surely he's not. Don deserves to own a Tesla Cybertruck. I feel this year would be your best trading year ever. It'd be hard to beat 21. It very hard to beat 21. I did 10x what I normally do in 2021. And that was even with the $50,000 loss. My biggest loss ever. All right, I have to get to the my midship group. If you guys are curious about that or the midship play, you guys know. You know where to find it. Anyway, you'll see me again Tuesday. Have a good one.